nice. This is Space Harrier on the Commodore 64, released in 1986 by SEGA, and as far as I can tell, Mindscape, obviously based on the arcade machine of the same name that was released in the arcades in 1985, and is one of my favourite arcade machines of all time. Sprite scaling, shoot 'em up, pseudo 3D, and I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with it. Now, yeah, I've done Space Harrier, well, I've done Space Harrier on pretty much everything. And yeah, you know, like everything, Saturn arcade, and I've done it on the Commodore 64 before. But what's interesting when I found this ROM is it gives you the option to play another version that's not the Elite version. This is the Sega and/or I guess Mindscape, because that's what it said from the site I downloaded it from, version, which I think actually came out a year or so later. And while the original port on the Commodore 64, I was going to say Sega Master System, is a pretty good port, this is kind of ironed out some of the creators or problems with it, but I haven't played that port in years, so I can't tell you what they are, apart from an obvious one, which we'll get to. But as far as I can tell, this is the same bloke who did the Elite version, by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, revisiting it and kind of finishing it and tweaking it in a way that he really wanted to do the first time around but couldn't because of time constraints. Right, let's get into it. Right, so let's get into this. So it does say 1986 and programmed by Chris Butler, so whether that or not that's the same guy, I don't know, but listen to that epic SID chip goodness. Right, there's the obvious difference. Let's get into it. Oh, it's moot. I'll say it before, or I've said it before and I'll say it again. Can I fly because I got superpowers, or can I fly because I got a fuck off big bazooka under my arm with a big jet on the back? I don't know. I got some pretty fly boots as well. Obvious difference is you've got the lines. I think that's an obvious difference. Again, I haven't played the other one, but like I said, this is just supposed to be a little bit more polished. Now, just because I'm a fanboy, I'm still going to say I prefer the Spectrum version because the sprite's sharper. But, you know, this is a pretty good port, and also it's got music as well as sound effects, which I know the Commodore could do both at the same time in the right hands, but more often than not, people chose to do one or the other, which is a shame. I don't know why. By all means, I was never a Commodore 64 kid growing up, but why was that? I got itchy face. Shit, it's never a good thing when you're in the fantasy zone. Obviously, it's the same places, fantasy zone thingy, whatever. Just shoot 'em up, isn't it? Fantasy Star. Sorry, brain farts. My God, I'm getting slapped around and called Susan big time. Time, bottom left. I do really like, you know, how they've done the colour in this. Because it does look like the arcade, but the sprites aren't absolutely blocktastic. Now, if you are a Commodore guy, throw me a bone. I grew up with Spectrum, but I've always thought the Spectrum had tighter, sharper looking sprites. Well, it had a high definition, yeah, it's silly to say by today's standards, I know, but had a high definition graphics mode, didn't it? Did the Commodore not? I mean, didn't they have to use a whole bunch of, like, tricks, like the outside borders and stuff to do certain stuff? Again, wrong video to talk about stuff like that. This isn't a Commodore versus Spectrum war. But you know where my heart lies. That music is so good. Oh. Ah. Surely it could have done samples. I'm not complaining, but surely it could have done sample speech. Yay! Ba-doo, ba-doo. Right, can you only kill him when he comes towards you, or is that just the arcade version? I've got no idea how I'm avoiding those things. I'm not really sure where they actually are in relation to my sprite by the time they get to it, if that makes sense. Come on, let me just get past this guy so I can see, you know, don't die right here. So you can see that I'm not a total embarrassment in this game. Ooh. But anyway, I have a whole bunch of ROMs, probably shouldn't mention that in this video, but I'm going to, which are the Sega Mindscape versions of the Activision and US Gold games. So I've got Afterburner, which I can tell you right now is a vast improvement. I've got Outrun, which I haven't actually fired up yet. And I got Thunderblade. Good time. Hey! Giza. Autumnal colours. Ooh! Saucy. Frisky. That's really impressive. I don't know why my voice cracked there. Maybe I have the right when I go for puberty. But those are bloody cool. Ah, Shizen. Those are really cool. I think have I got an infinite life hack on? I got a funny feeling that the Elite version did that as well, didn't it? That's a bit hit or miss though. I mean, that is cool, but that is a little bit hit or miss how I avoid them. Those Easter Island heads, I'm pretty sure that's not actually what they are really cool. Right. Yoink! Oh, woo! Paul Daniels' impression for the win right there. Jeez! Right. Oh, I'm loving that music, seriously. Buy the latest issue of Retro Game. I haven't got it yet because I haven't been to a shop that has it. It's really hit or miss in my neck of the woods. Don't you get a CD on the front with Commodore 64 music? That's going to live in my car, if I can get it. Again, that's completely irrelevant to this, with the exception that I'm playing a Commodore 64 game. But hey, I'm pretty sure if you're tuning into my videos, you know that it's Dave. Of course he's going to talk constant nonsensical bollocks. It's what he does. I am really impressed with that. I mean, it is very winging it on a prayer that I'm getting through it. But, what was it? Spinning heads? Listen to that music. It's so relaxed. Feels almost wrong to incur death during that. Sounds like a lullaby. Definitely. Right, I'm sure it's a rendition of the arcade. Boom! Right, well there you go. I'm going to call it quits there. But Space Harrier US version by SEGA alright, that's really impressive, Mindscape. By all means, if you know the full story of these conversions and the differences and stuff like that, well, let me know. But I mean, I just have to give it a go because any form of SEGA games that are different to ones I previously played count as new SEGA games to me, and I like SEGA. I like it a lot. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.